So the first thing that I want to talk about in conscious sexuality is the no goal, no agenda thing, which means when it comes to the love making, we have no goal and no agenda. And I'm going to demonstrate it by a story. So you want to go hiking and you want to go to the top of the mountain because you know that on the top of the mountain it's beautiful. The air is clean and there's an amazing view and there's this beautiful thing on the top of the mountain and you really, really want to get there. So what do? You take your things and you're very goal oriented and you want to go to the top and you just start climbing the mountain until you get to the top and you're very determined to go to the top no matter what. And when you get there, it's very beautiful. But then what? You go down and you wait for the next time to climb. And what happens if you don't get to the mountain? What happens if you have to stop or something happens on the way? Then sometimes you can get very frustrated and start thinking, what will happen next time? I really, really want to get there. So this is the goal that you have. And it can be very, very beautiful, but sometimes it can be also frustrating. But what happens if you don't have a goal and you don't have an agenda? You know that the top of the mountain is there, the peak is there, and you're going to get there. But it's not your goal. You know you're going to get there somewhere, but you want to enjoy the way. So you start climbing, you start hiking, but you look around. And then you start noticing that there are things on the way. And instead of just looking at them and moving forward, maybe you decide you want to stay there. Maybe there's a beautiful spring that you want to put your feet in and you want to stay there a little. And yeah, you're going to get to the top of the mountain, but later. Okay, maybe there's a nice tree that you want to spend more time under it and enjoy the shade. And maybe it has nuts on it or fruits. And you really want to explore what's happening on the tree and you're in no hurry to get to the top. What happens then? You can enjoy the way, you can stay a little bit here, a little bit there, and you will get to the top and then you can stay there before you go down. So the experience is very, very different when you don't have an agenda. So the same things happen in sex or when you make love. Most of the people are very goal-oriented. They have an agenda. They want to go to the orgasm. They want to finish. They want to come. They want to have an end to everything. And they just want to go there. It's very linear. You start here, you go here, 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 and there. Penetration, orgasm, and then everything is fine. This is very oriented. It's not bad. It's just one way to do it. So I want to talk about another way to do it, the Tantric way. Because in Tantra, we are very present. One of the main things when we practice in Tantra and conscious sexuality is being present and breathe and be in your body, not in your mind. So when you go to make love, you take out the mind. There's nowhere to go. There's no orientation. There's no agenda to fulfill. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to go anywhere. You just need to be present in your body. And then you start a journey. And many things can be in the journey. So the Tantric way of making love is not linear. It's like maybe a spiral or a wave. So you start and something happens and you stay there. And then you rest and then something else happens and you stay there. And then maybe you go back and forth and not there. And maybe there will be a penetration and maybe there will be an orgasm and maybe you will experience pleasure and orgasm from something else that you didn't even know existed. So you're just present and you're in your body and you breathe and you feel like, what is good for me now? What is good in my body? How do I feel now? Do I feel good? Am I present? Does my body feel nice? And if the answer is yes, then stay there and explore and experience. And also, when you do that, you don't think of the future and you start to be anxious and then other not very nice thing can happen. And I can tell you from my practice in my clinic, then most of the problems that had to do with functioning and sexual functioning has to do with that your mind is not in your body, your mind is somewhere else, and you become very anxious of what is going to happen later. Will I have an erection? Will I come before or after? Will I have an orgasm? What's going to happen? How is he going to touch me? And you're very, very in your head and not in your body, because you have a goal. You want to have an orgasm, or you want to penetrate, and everything you do is going there. What will happen if you'll just breathe and be in your body? No goal, no agenda. This is the Tantric way of making love. Of course, orgasms. Of course, you can penetrate. There's nothing wrong with penetration and having orgasms or ejaculate. Just do it from the body and feel what's right for you right now.